and securing them. In other words, it won't make you spend more money. So what cloud do is that takes care of all the existing tasks and lets you focus on what's matter. What's matter is building your app and make it accessible to most of your users. So now passing to what is cloud computing? A very easy word, one sentence. Cloud is simply on-demand delivery of IT resources. With IT resources such as virtual machines, storage, CPU cycles, and so on. The list is so big. From a cloud provider. A cloud provider such as Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, and Google Cloud Platform. There are many cloud providers, but these are the top three. So, via the internet, this process will be done via the internet with pay-as-you-go model. Is Azure what we are looking for? Maybe these 4 facts about Azure will answer our questions. Azure is the second place in the market today. Azure has more regions and available country than Amazon Web Service, which is the first one in the market, but Azure has more regions and available country. Also, Azure provides more than 100 services for now, and it's trusted by 500 companies such as Samsung, Boeing, Adobe, eBay, HP, and I'm sure at least you heard of 2 of them, if not more. So we said that we can rent different services from a cloud provider. But I want to point here to the most common services, which are power compute and storage. We'll start by storage because we'll go in more detail with power compute. Storage is storing unstructured and structured data. Unstructured data, like storing structured and unstructured data in the cloud. So when we talk about unstructured data, we're meaning like we are going to store text, image, JSON files, video. But when we talk about structured data, we talk about classes, relationship about between those classes, and one word, we talk about database. And for power compute, there are 3 approaches. Here we got virtual machines, containers, and serverless. We'll start by virtual machine. Virtual machine, what is virtual machine? In easy word, virtual machine simulates a real machine. But instead of you going to buy an expensive laptop that has the categories you want and the softwares you need, you just go to a cloud provider, you get the virtual machine with the characteristics you want and you wish and you need, and then get that virtual machine, install the softwares that you want, then work with it. So the logic here will say, so instead me buying a laptop and spending much money and spending a lot of money with something that I will use for once or twice. So why would I use virtual machine to do that job for me, and just then after doing that job, I finish with virtual machine and finish paying for that. So that's exactly what cloud provider do for you. Let your virtual machine running on physical server in their data center, and that's all. You don't have to do any other existing task. Just that. Get your virtual machine and run the softwares you need. This is an example of VMware virtual machine, but this is like we say an application, just to make it clear, easy for you to understand. But virtual machine have the same in cloud have the same logic. So here I have my Windows, like you see, and this is Ubuntu. So I want an operating system. Instead of buying a machine and setting Ubuntu on it, I just need to get a virtual box or VMware or whatever I want and install that virtual machine and use it. Simply as that. See, I didn't buy the laptop. So here is also, for those who don't know, Microsoft Data Center. One of Microsoft Data Center, how it looks. And here is how the data center looks from the inside. Racks, servers, we will talk about that in detail later. Okay, so now let's talk about container. Container. Containers solve developer problem. It works on my machine. So me, after doing an application, and I'm so proud of, and it's working just fine on my machine, I put it in production, or even better example, I put it in my friend's machine, and it doesn't work. While it's the same code, it's the same thing. It doesn't work. So maybe that didn't work because they have the missing dependencies or missing libraries, missing things that will make the application work. So that Docker came in, containers came in and said, okay, I'll solve that problem. No, it won't be a problem anymore. What will I do? Easy. I will wrap all of your app in a package, all the dependencies, the operating system, everything needed in order to make your application work just fine, and then just execute it in a standard runtime environment. So that will solve the problem for me. The reason why I mentioned Docker here, because it's the word leading platform. It's so powerful. And a little difference between container and virtual machine, it's like a container is lighter weight than virtual machine, and it also the container just work for the time that you want to. Virtual machine, like you have operating system, you have to build an etc. So container now will start the app very, very, very fast because there is no operating system like virtual machine. There's operating system and you have to boot and initialize and that. Container, no. Say no. I work on your host operating system. So I will start the app very fast just to launch the app and it will work. Amazing fact about Docker is that wraps different isolated app. As you see, they have app A, B, C, and they will work independently and in isolated way, and they will work just fine. Now about the serverless. The serverless, the name could be misleading because there are servers, but you're not the one to take care of the servers or maintaining them. Cloud computing execution model. So will work. The serverless is different than container and virtual machine because it will work just for a little bit of time, a little period. Like it just will do one task or two and finish. The container will work for a couple of long time because it will run your application and stuff. But the serverless, it just will run one task. So the logic here is the serverless runtime. Your app is divided into multiple functions, different functions, and they works when triggered. So if I have an email and I subscribe for a website and stuff, or anything, well, like for Facebook, they will get a confirmation email. That's a function. It will send me a confirmation email. I will receive that, and that's serverless will end there. So Azure benefits. Azure have a lot of benefits, not just what I mentioned here, but have at least 7 or 8 benefits, powerful benefits. I chose this because it kind of recap everything. So it's cost effective because in the beginning we said that cloud provider will take care of your infrastructure, your maintaining, the security, etc. So you will pay less money. It's scalable. It's scalable, like we can add more resources or we can remove some resources just as we need. So there are 2 approaches in scalable. There is the vertical scaling, which is scaling up, means that we add more resources to increase the power of an existing server. We add more CPU, we add CPU cycles, we add more storage. That's what's vertical scaling, just to increase the power of your server. Horizontal scaling or scaling out is just adding more servers. I have one server. I want to add more servers to proceed one request or multiple requests, like the incoming requests. Not reliable. I want to elastic. First, elastic, it compensates. A cloud compensate with your drop or spike on workload. Like if you have that time where everyone is logging into your system and you don't want to fall down, or you don't want to make them get nervous using the website or whatever, you just allocate more resources. And when the workload get back as it was, it disallocate the resources that allocated earlier. So it's elastic. It compensates with your needs. Reliable, when we talk about reliability, we say that I want to rely on you because I trust you, because I will put in my secrets on you. I will put everything I need there. So you need to be reliable. When I put my data there, I wanna find it there. When you promise me about security, I wanna keep my things and my data there secure. And that's where we talk about security. Secure. Microsoft invests really, really, really hard in security. It spends billions of their security, not just in the infrastructure of the camera and the fingerprints and details, but here in their system, in the cloud. It invests in security also. It protects with the many different layers. And also security, when we talk about security, we talk about the encryption for the data. It will, for any attacker that just think of attacking your data, he will find encryption, which is impossible to hack. And then it also provides replication. Replication means I have copy, it replicates that copy. So if something happened to that copy, I found another copy. If something happened to that copy, there is another copy that I can retrieve. So I won't feel that. But that logic say, in case he or she lost that copy, we need to have a backup. So if that copy lost, we'll offer you another copy. If that other copy lost, we'll offer you another copy. So now to recap what we just discussed. Cloud, why we use cloud? I said cloud will be a great choice if you don't want to build and maintain your infrastructure and spending a lot of money and just focusing what's matter. We said that cloud is on demand, like you can allocate resources IT resources when needed on demand via the internet with pay-as-you-go model. There is a lot of different services that cloud providers provide, but the two most common services that everyone mostly use is Power Compute and storage. Power Compute, we talked about virtual machines that simulates a real machine. We talk about containers. Containers also we talk about Docker. We said that containers package all of your dependency and all the detail just to make sure that your app work in any other machine or any other operating system, or even the production phase or anything. And also we finished it by talking about serverless. First, serverless was there is a servers, but you're not the one to maintain that. The third party, which is cloud providers, takes care of that. All you have to do is to write your code, to put it in zip, and then push it to the cloud, and the cloud will do the job for you. The code will be divided into multiple functions. It will do the job when triggered, and then we talk about storage, structured and unstructured data. So any questions about this for now? Or should I
Yeah,
complete?
so if you
Tell
just
me.
joined us in the chat, thank you very much for taking out time on Saturday to join us. We have global audience here, including you. So wherever you are joining us from, just say hi in the chat and we would reply back. Also, if you have any question as you are listening to Ahad and then speakers, please just put it in the chat so that we pick it up and notify the speaker. I think for now, there is no question. So Ahad, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we'll be proceeding and talking about cloud deployment model. what we should know that not one cloud model is suitable for all of that, because each one of us have their needs and their expectation. So let's dive more in here. We said there are three types of cloud deployment models. We have public, private, and hybrid. We'll start about talking about public, and we will start talking about the definition, then the pros and cons. So in order to start with public cloud, we say that public cloud is the most common way of deploying. Our resources are owned and managed by third party. Third party, as we earlier mentioned, that will be Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Service or Google Cloud Platform. So they will manage we put our data. Just you can you access and manage account through the web browser. And now I will just give a picture of the three lines I said. So now if I want to store my data on the public cloud, means now I'm secure, I'm reliable on it and everything. So I will put my data there, and I can't manage it. What will happen under the hood? I can't control. I don't have a full control. So the control is managed by third party. The third party, and they do everything, and I just need to focus more on my resources. And if I want to maintain or do anything to my resources, add, delete, maintain, do anything I want. So I need to access a web browser to do that. So here, it's lower cost, no maintenance, and high reliability. See, it's easy, seriously, because I just want to focus on the resources. I want to focus on what's in front of me. I don't want to focus what's happening in the data center. I don't want to build the infrastructure. I don't want to do anything of that. All of that. The third party do that, and I just focus on my resources via the browser. Anything, any maintain or management will be done of the resources will be done via web browser. The cons is that lack of customization and lack of control and the performance, because it depends on the internet. Because when you access the web browser, you need internet. So if you don't have internet, you can't control your resources. Now we'll pass to the private cloud. The private cloud is used exclusively by one organization or business. So if you want to have a full control and you have a really sensitive data, just go for the private cloud. And the private cloud, most of the users are government agency, financial institutions, CIA, bank, everything with really sensitive data. So here, when I want, earlier we said that public cloud we control via the browser. Here, in order to control our resources, you see services infrastructure are maintained on a private network. So if you want to maintain, we use a private network. The good thing about it is more flexible. There is a better security and a greater control. I can control as much as I need. But the cons is very costly, expensive. Security is shared responsibility between me and my cloud provider, and it may require some upfront, means infrastructure and so on. Now the hybrid. The hybrid, as I always say, it's a beautiful mix between public and private. If you want to share your data, or if you want to move your data between the private, like the sensitive data that you hide in the infrastructure, and the public, where you put it in the cloud, public, in order to share the data between public and private, you will need a hybrid cloud, the third type, a hybrid cloud, such as when we need, for an example, the healthcare. When hospitals send patient data to insurance providers, like your sensitive data of the patient, they will be sent to the public cloud. Or another example, if you are migrating, you have all your data in the infrastructure and stuff, and you're managing all of that, means in the private cloud, and you want to migrate just step by step. to the cloud, public cloud. That's when hybrid do means like when you migrate, you just put a little bit in the private, the public just a test, and the rest is private. And you need those data that you put in the cloud. So you use hybrid. So the great things about it is flexible and scalable, suitable for cloud migration, as we just said, and you have more control. The cons is lack of visibility, cloud expertise is required. You need to be a little bit expert to do that, and security complexities. Again, another recap for what we saw. We said that the cloud models, we have three types of models, and not just one model is suitable for all of us. We have the cloud, private cloud, when you have a sensitive data, and you don't want to share them, or you don't want someone to control them. So it's private cloud, you control that and stuff. But and there is also public cloud. If you don't worry about who will control your data, where it will be stored, how it will be maintained, and then go for the public cloud and use the web browser to access that. And the hybrid cloud, if you want your data to be shared between private and public cloud. And if you want, or if you are migrating, then you will use hybrid cloud. Well, this is all for the second part. Any questions are welcomed, of course. Or I should proceed.
Hello. Yeah, thank you so much for another amazing session. And that is one great thing I like about AHA sessions as well. She always breaks it into pieces, asks you if I should proceed. So in the chat, if you just joined us, thank you very much for taking our time to join us. Please put any question you have in the chat, and then our speakers would answer you. All right. And also, if you are enjoying the session, just let us know that, things are going great and then you like it. All right. So thank you very much for joining us. I think there's no question currently. Is there a recording of the whole session? I kind of joined you guys late. Yeah. There's a recording, but then you are not late at all. This is just the beginning. So you'll be able to catch up. Thank you so much. I think you can. Is that?
There is so much yet to come.
Yeah,
exactly. Ahad is just preparing the way for the many things to come. So you joined quite good. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you are preparing to take an AZ 900 exams, this is actually one of the good places. I mean, this particular session is great for you to prepare towards it. Thank you so much. I had to proceed.
Thank you. So we'll be proceeding with cloud computing categories. We have three categories. So there's the, okay, when you look for categories for cloud, you will see this diagram or this pyramid. Because we have three layers. The first layer is infrastructure as a service, used by a system admin. And this is where you provide with everything you need in physical, another virtual machines, CPU, storage, so on. And it is for rent. Now for platform as a service, the second layer here is used by developers. So here everything is pre-configured for them. There is this platform where they can run their app, where they can all the programming languages, the frameworks, libraries, dependency, everything they needed. So they just need to focus on developing their apps and then deploying it in the cloud. That's all. And software as a service, the third layer, is used by end users like us. Means the ability to use anything wanted, like Gmail and stuff. Gmail, like using it without having any control or under the hood. So you will use and you will consume that model on the browser without installing it. And you can't change on what operating system is running. Why you use this and not that? You will just consume. Okay, this is, I decided to take an example for this, and this is software as a service. Here is a Gmail. We said that you will just consume, you don't have any control under the hood. So here I will just write my email and get out. I will check my emails. I will do whatever I want here without installing the app on my desktops, on my system, just consuming without changing anything. Here is another example of Microsoft 365. Here I can consume like Drive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc., etc., without installing them on my machine. Here is now an example of a platform as a service. We said everything is pre-configured for them, everything. So all we have to do is to write a good code that works. We run it, and then we deploy it in the cloud. Here is another example of platform as a service of Heroku. Here's another great platform, seriously. And this is infrastructure as a service. We said that we can rent services like virtual machine storage, private networks, etc. Everything needed. Physical one just to rent. Another recap is what we just saw here. We said there is 3 layers: infrastructure as a service, which is used by system admin. It is to rent some physical resources such as virtual machines, storage, etc. And then there is the second layer, which is platform as a service, used by developers, and everything is pre-configured for them, and they just need to build. That's the only job they have to do. So they just deploy their code, good code that's running, and they develop it, and then they deploy it in the cloud. That's what they have to do. And finally, with the software as a service, a software as a service is like you can consume. You are an end user. We can consume without downloading that app. Just use it without having any control of what's happening behind. Oh, here we will talk about Azure regions. This is fun. Okay, we said that Azure have more regions than Amazon Web Services. Have 58 regions and 140 available in country, and there is more, of course, in the coming year. So here we will talk about more details about each of these terms mean. So we have a single virtual machine here. When we talk about virtual machines, there is no replicated copies. Means in that virtual machine that you rent, there is just one copy of your work, and that's all. This service level agreement intervened and said, if you have just one virtual machine, then I will give you just 3 nines. Service level agreement is a contract between the user and the cloud provider to like it will guarantee the uptime of your virtual machine, of everything related to your work. Means that you will keep your work running, you will keep your virtual machine running without any down. And this is availability sets. When we talk about availability sets, it's a logical grouping between 2 virtual machines or more. Here, why we use logical group, and we use virtual machine, the 2 virtual machines. I just want over 1. Well, here service level agreement also intervened and said it will protect you from hardware failure. Like if something happened to that virtual machine, and you don't want your work to lose your work, or something happen to your copy, so we will move it directly without anyone noticing to the second virtual machine. So if something related to the server in general, the rack, or inside in the virtual machine, then it will guarantee that it will work on the other virtual machine. Now for the availability zone, if also we have copies on each availability zone. If something happened to this availability zone, maybe a fire or power or cooling, something happened to all the data center, then we will move you to another data center in the next availability zone that is inside the same region. And that's where we talk about availability sense. And here, as you see, SLA, Service Level Agreement, offers you 4 nines. It's something great because the maximum thing that they can offer 5, but when they offer you 4, it's also great because it's the most used contract. And here we have a region pairs. Region pairs, like we have 2 regions that they are separated with 300 miles, 300,000 miles between 2 regions. So if something happened into the region, like what can happen? A really big disaster happened to that region, make them lose it, make them lose that region. So they have to make an action. What's that action? They will pass you to another region that's 300 miles away, and it will work just fine. Okay, now we'll talk about more details about availability sets. I said availability set earlier that it's a logical grouping between 2 or more virtual machines. Why? Because it will protect you from the planned and unplanned maintenance. When we talk about planned maintenance is the update domain. So when Microsoft decide to update their fabric or the hypervisor or something, so in order that your machine won't fall down, it will just update this one, and this one keep running. So if this one done, we will pass to this one, and this one will be updated. So if one updated, the other one keep running. If the other one is updated, the other one keep running, and so on. The fault domain is when unplanned maintenance happen. Unplanned maintenance when something happened to the rack or the server. Like because we said rack contains servers and also have a network switch to provide connectivity to the servers. So if something happened to the rack, we need to pass to another virtual machine. So that calls unplanned maintenance. When something we are not planned, or Microsoft didn't plan for it, but it happens. So is it costly? No, you just need to pay for your virtual machines. You won't pay for any logical grouping. You won't pay for anything extra, just to pay for the virtual machine you are using. Okay, now how does it work? How does it work? Each server contains one hypervisor. This is a rack. Just to say, this is completely, we call a rack. And each rack contains a hypervisor. And inside also a rack, there is a switch to, first we have a piece of software called Fabric Controller. And we have also a network switch to provide the connectivity to each server. So now, this Fabric controller is related directly to the orchestrator. The orchestrator is responsible for the incoming requests and everything happen, like responsible for all the requests that happen for Azure. How the request is passed? It's passed through API orchestrator. And how can we contact or connect to the API so we can send our request to the orchestrator? Well, there is different tools, but in our case, because we are talking about Microsoft Azure and stuff, we're going to use Azure Portal. So what we'll do here is type, okay, I want to create a virtual machine. Okay, you got it. API will pass your request to the orchestrator. Orchestrator will take all the packages needed, and it will take your request and then look for a suitable server, any suitable server inside the rack. And then when you find it, send that package and your request to the Fabric controller. Okay, Fabric controller will proceed that request and then create the virtual machine that you needed, and then it's ready. It's ready for you to consume. Well, that was all about how Azure work in the inside, the cloud works on the inside. So here we'll pass for the Azure billing. we said in the beginning, when we rent resources, we rent services via cloud provider, we'll do it with pay-as-you-go model. It's like a gym. When you pay monthly for your gym, when you go inside to use those materials and to be inside, you need to pay. So this is it depends. You use you pay monthly, year, 3 months, etc. But here in Azure, they pay monthly. Each month, at the end of the month, or like when you complete, they will send you an invoice with payment and structures, like how this final prices came. They will show you the resources that you rent in every detail, so you know why you will pay this month and why and how. So, us as a student now, once we sign up, we just get Azure subscription, the first one, Microsoft Online Services Program. It's by default, like when we connect, a subscription is created by default. So here we said Azure subscription is also a logical container. Use it to provision your resources in Azure. There are 4 types of billing. Microsoft Online Services Program that we said us by default get it. And there is Enterprise Agreement, Microsoft Customer Agreement, and Microsoft Partner Agreement. So this is also an example of how a billing could be, innovis can be. This is by default a student subscription. So Microsoft Online Service Program, the billing, this is the billing account. Okay, we'll start with here. This is the resources that you rent inside one subscription, and you can have, as you see, multiple subscription. So in this subscription, we rent different resources. There are virtual machine, SQL, app services, and the 2 subscription is inside one billing account. And this billing account contains the invoice and the payment methods. So what we discussed along this session was we started with the cloud models and types. The 3 types of model, we talked about public, private, and hybrid in details. We also talked about interface, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. And then we passed it to the how it works. No, we passed it to the architecture. I'm sorry. We've talked more detail about the geographic regions, availability sets, the fault domain, update domain, which is the planned and unplanned maintained by Microsoft, and how it works from the inside, how the request is preceded from Azure portal to cloud back to your machine. And we finish it by saying the 4 types of billing accounts. We have Microsoft Online Services Program that we have by default as a student, Enterprise Agreement, Microsoft Customer Agreement, and finally the partner, Microsoft Partner Agreement. Well, that was all, and I'm so thankful that you joined us. And each question and any question is welcome.
Woo! Come on.
High five.
Did you just complete the entire session?
Okay, I will proceed to you now.
Actually, I thought you had a lot more to add. Have you summarized it so much today? Oh, this is the full slide I always know of.
No, it's the full slide. We made it more dynamic. That's all.
Oh, I see. That's so great. Awesome. Thank you so much for such a beautiful presentation. If you have any question in the chat, just put it there, and then we will answer you. She's still here. I think one of the good takeaways I actually found out is about availability set and availability zone. So if you're in the chat, just tell us what have you learned about availability zone and then also availability sets. What are the differences that you've learned so far? You can just put it in the chat. And a key takeaway though is that with availability sets, they belong to the same region, right? They belong to the same data centers.
center.
However, it's more or less like having two separate computers that is saving the same files, right? So what happens is that in the process, if they are updating one of the computers, the other computer doesn't get to be affected. However, availability zone has, different data centers, like different zones that have, your data being backed to. So it's like even when an earthquake happens to one of the data centers, the other data center is still right there for you, having all your data, saved for you. So that was a key takeaway. I hope I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, you are right. Just for the availability. I'm sorry.
Zone.
Yeah, for the availability zone. Okay, availability set when something happened, like related to Microsoft. Something happened inside. If it's planned, like Microsoft planned that thing. It is planned to do that particular thing, like to update their hypervisor, their the system and stuff. And if it's unplanned, something happened they don't know about. Something happened to the rack and they get an alert, so they move you directly without you noticing as a user of that thing happening. So it will just direct you to your other virtual machines with your copies and everything saved and everything as it is exactly. But if it is in the availability zone, like something happened, like just to the data center, fire, cooling, or something happened to the whole data center. So we have to move you to another data center without also you noticing or being affected, just to redirect you, and then we will fix that problem. But if something happened to the whole regions, then like earthquakes or tornadoes, like something tremendous, something big happened. So we have to move you to another region to make sure you proceed your request and your everything happening normal, just so we can fix that thing that happened. But everything is good for you to go. You won't notice. They will just be a little bit mad, but everything will be great.
Exactly. Awesome. This is actually a key concept. It confused me initial stages, but then as I keep learning and keep hearing from Ahad, a lot of speakers, I realize, oh, this is actually a simple concept and good to go. So if you just joined us, we are talking about the cloud, someone else's computer, but in this case, Microsoft's computer. All right, so it's just like Ahad explained. It is more than what you just think, and you can see the availability zone, availability set, and all those stuff are like huge amount of things that you don't get to if you are using your own like on-premises data. And when we think about on-premise, we are talking about like you yourself. If you set all those things, a data center app, you will not be able to take care of a lot of things, for instance, earthquake and all those things. You would have to make, provision for all of them. But Microsoft is huge enough to be able to do all those things for you, right? So those are the benefit that you get when you use the cloud. Thank you so much for your session. Whilst you hang around, if there is any question in the chat, you can just, answer.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, so really insightful information, someone says in the chat. Okay, so our next speaker is going to be Pallavi. Pallavi is a Microsoft student partner and from India. Hi, Pallavi.
Hey, Dauda. Hey.
Amazing. Oh, is that Sundaresha's desktop? Ah, okay, cool.
Shall I share now?
Yeah, you should share your screen.
Okay. Well, Ahead, it was amazing, and thank you, Ahead. You always give new insights.
Thank you, Pallavi, and we are waiting for your interesting content.
Wait, I'm just having problem sharing. Share. Okay, I want to share.
Yeah, so whilst you are sharing, Jackson, would you want to give anywhere? Jackson is the lead organizer for this particular event. This is his event. Jackson, would you want to say hi?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the session. Great work ahead. And a thumbs up to everyone that's still around. And yeah, this is a great session. I'm really learning a lot as well here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jackson. So those of you from Zambia, you might know Jackson. He's a Microsoft student partner from Zambia, and he is responsible for this particular event. Oh, your screen has been shared already.
Yes.
Alavi.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
Cool.
Shall I go ahead now?
So then I think we are good to go. Yes, we are good to go. You can. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's start. We got a lot of insights from ahead, and let's do something practical now. Okay, let's talk about what does Azure has to offer you. Whenever you try to create something called resource, we'll discuss about what resource is, but whenever you try to create a resource, you visit this place, like Azure Marketplace. Now, what is this Azure Marketplace? Well, this is an online store. You have everything that you need, like ML, AI, machine learning, web, Android, cognitive services. Like just search for it, and you'll get to find something definitely. And the biggest part is that it's optimized and ease. And plus, if you are working on something of your own, just create it, give it a try, and maybe if they like it, they will incorporate it. Okay, and as of now, I'll go back and let's talk about creating a resource first. Well, what is a resource? Before that, let's discuss about what a resource group is, because whenever you create a resource, that resource is going to reside in a resource group. You cannot have a resource without a resource group. Okay, and for that, I was wondering how to go about, so I just created a little article. It's like a 5-minute read. I'll share it. I'll share the link after the session probably. Okay, and yeah, so what a resource group is. Resource group is a container, and you can have all the resources that you want in it. And this container, how will you decide which resources to place where? This is a very big question. When I was creating a resource group and I was adding resources, I wanted to add Face API, I wanted to add a web app as well, and I was confused where to add what. So while creating that, you need to consider a few points. I'll say that resources should be in the same life cycle. Means that all your resources are going to have a same starting time, end time, and whenever you want to delete, you can delete them all at once by deleting your whole resource group. So that's the ideology that we follow.
Okay, Pallavi.
Yeah. Am I not audible?
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Sunda.
Yeah.
You are audible. Sunda.
Yes,
is Pallavi's screen the way it's supposed to be shared?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I can see in the queue. Looks like
is my screen not visible?
Having the. Okay. If it says then, then it's okay. Then it's fine. Maybe it's my internet. So.
Maybe it's working fine for me. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so your resource is going to exist only in one resource group, because your resource is going to have a physical location. Like you can store your resources in a physical location, like maybe Central US, West US. We'll be discussing, we'll be creating it in a while. But like it can resource like the resource can exist only in one place at a time, but you can move whenever you want to. And plus, yeah, you can go ahead and give it a look. And now when you go about creating a resource group, there are multiple ways for creating a resource group. And I'm just going to share the most relevant ones, which I feel are definitely very important at certain times. Like one is a simple GUI one we can create using this place. Create a resource group over here. Now here is one important thing, like how will you name your resource group? Well, you can follow any nomenclature that you find relevant and significant, but try to make it in a way that it's informative and it tells you at some later point of time what was it intended to do. And like it should give you a clear information, because you are going to have multiple resource groups, and when you are having multiple resource groups you may get confused. So the nomenclature that I am following here, and that I think many people follow, is like RG for the resource group. You can have like what does it do? Maybe it's just a demo here. And the location, you can add the location, and maybe you can also add like it's in production phase or it's in development phase or what. Okay. And the region here is Central US. You can choose whatever you want to based on multiple factors. The factors are like where you want it to be physically located. And how will you decide where it should be physically located? You will decide on the basis like you want fast speed, you want fast delivery. So based on that, the marketplace where you're hosting your website or maybe your application, based on that you decide where to locate it. Maybe like you want to locate it near you or maybe near to your customers. Okay. And yeah, you just create it, it validates, and it shows you a good notification that your resource group has been created. Moving on, like we can create resource groups using PowerShell and CLI, like Azure CLI as well. Now, why to use PowerShell and CLI? Because it's like I will have to run commands, and why should I go for commands? But you know, it's like when you are having multiple resource group, it becomes very bulky and heavy to maintain that all and view all the things from the GUI. So sometimes when you are doing it in at a global, like at a big level, we try to do it using PowerShell or CLI. Okay, and PowerShell, you can use Bash as well if you're on Linux, but as I am on Windows, I'm going to use PowerShell. And plus, like when you start it for the very first time, it will prompt you for this, like I don't have any storage mounted, and it will require storage. And where does it store this information? It will automatically create a resource group for this. And this information will be stored like where you live. Like as I am from Central India, so my resource group will be in Central India. You can view it later. I'll show you where can you view it. But yeah, create a resource, create the storage, and we are good to go. And I have here opened my PowerShell, and yeah, so you can create a new resource group. That's very easy. There's one key point that I really like about PowerShell. You actually do not need to write maintaining like, okay, N should be capital and A should be capital. Just write it in smalls, and at the end, just type, just use the tab, and it will automatically fix all. Okay, so you really do not need to worry about it. And yeah, one key point about location, just make sure that it matches the one that you saw in the portal, because otherwise it will show you error, because PowerShell do not understands it. You can see your specific resource groups. You can see all the resource groups. just find good attributes that you need and you're good to go. Yeah, this is the one I was talking about, Cloud Shell Storage Central India. And you can also see that there are no tags for any, because I have not added tags in particular. You can add tags when you are creating a resource group, but I have not done it because like I don't need it as of now. I want to create it at some later point of time based on my needs. And yeah, you may not know what tag is. I'll also tell you. Wait for a while. Okay, and Azure CRI. Up. Now the question is when to use PowerShell and when to use CRI. Azure client is very specific. Like it gives you a lot of information that PowerShell may not be able to give. Like okay, let's just try that. I want to create a group. Okay, I'm creating a resource group. You saw how the screen works when I created a group using the PowerShell, and when I'm creating using Azure client, I have a lot of information over here. And this is the key difference. It gives you a lot of details that PowerShell do not. So again, maybe sometimes you want information and sometimes you already know the information and you don't want it and you just want the things to work. And that's how you follow. Okay, and yeah, let me stop it over here. And as of now, we'll go with a simple way of creating a resource. I'll create a resource using this place. And okay, and for a beginner, this is very, very good that I start with a website. So let's start with the WordPress. I search for it in the marketplace. You can have a very wonderful like documentation. You can search for it. You can learn more anytime you want to. But okay, let me just create it. Okay, and my app name. The app name has to be unique. Okay, now if I try WordPress, yeah, the WordPress is not available, right? Because the site is, okay, is there any problem? No, okay, yeah, so the app name WordPress is not available as of now because, yeah, this already exists. So let me create something. Maybe, yeah, okay, this works. And you can also see here that it ends with Azure websites.net because this is how it's going to create my domain. And like because I'm not having my custom domain yet, so this is how it's going to work. And my subscription is Azure for Students. You can use existing if you have any. Like I have some resource groups existing. As I already told you about resource groups, you can create a one. Let's just use some existing. I'll use existing because I have. Yeah, okay. And for the database provider, I want to use my MySQL. Why I want to use MySQL? Because I'm just working in a development phase as of now. I'm not working in a production or deliverable basis. Okay. And application insights, let's keep it this way. And for the service plan, let's create a new service plan. Okay, my location. Okay, I want to use Central US. And for the pricing tier, well, you have many options over here when you are choosing the pricing tier. But like you have to pay based on that. You can have all the insights that you want. The included features, the included hardwares, you can see. And plus you can like, as this is in a development and test, you can have in the production and isolated as well. Like as I had explained about IaaS and SaaS. So yeah, this is how it works. But as of now, I'll just apply the F1 tier, the free one. And yeah, okay. So all seems okay and good. So we can create the one. I hope you all are doing it with me so that we can have any, like if you people have any error, you can ask at the very moment and we can figure it out. Yeah, you can see my deployment is in progress over here. it takes time sometimes. Is there any questions so far that I can help with? Anyone? Okay, let me check. Okay, there's no question so far.
Yeah, so far there is no question in the chat. Thank you so much for such a lovely session. We are all enjoying your yeah, from your presentation to the demo, everything seems to be great. We'll cover up for you. If there is any question, we'll just ask you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Tao. Thank you. Okay, okay, still not deployed. It may take time sometimes, based on the location, based on the app or site that you're trying to create, the resource that you're trying to create. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Your resource script is also a resource. Like, let me show you. If I search for resource script here. So yeah, the resource group is also a resource. So everything is basically a resource in the Azure marketplace. Oh, come on. Okay, we can talk about dashboard till the time it deploys. Well, you can create your custom dashboard over here. And what will you add in your dashboard? Like you can add the metrics, like how is your site responding, how it's acting, and how many views and all. You can have it all in the form of tiles over here. You can create a new dashboard anytime you want, and you can share it with the people. Now, why will you want to create a dashboard? Well, you may want to create it for many reasons. One particular that I find interesting is, like, suppose you are working in a company, like based on cloud, and you want to present to someone, like, how is your site performing, and how will you perform, like, how will you show it to all the presenters, like to all the people over there. So to do that, we create a dashboard, we share it with the person, with the people, and you can have it based on a different aspect ratio or based on a different screens. Oh yeah, it's successful. So yeah, you can have it based on the aspect ratio as well, like it's on TV or on laptop or what. Okay. Yeah, so my site is created, it's running. I have a URL, I have a service plan, I have a subscription all over here. Let me just, okay, let me just copy it and visit it. I guess my network is a bit down today. Okay. Till the time it's loading, okay. Well, yeah, these are the metrics I was talking about just few minutes back. You can have your data in, data out, request, or the request that you are having, and the average response time of your site. Plus, you can customize these based on what you want to. Like maybe sometimes you want to see the GPU performance or the CPU performance, or sometimes specific informations. Okay. Oh, come on. Yeah. Okay. I just filled in all the credentials. It's very quick and very fast and very easy to do. Yeah, I have created a weak username and password just to create something creative and useful. Yeah, well, okay. This is under maintenance. Okay. Okay. It may happen sometimes in cloud. Cloud image, yeah, this is the site. Okay. It's my first very page. Hello world. And I can edit my profile, I can customize, and yeah, I have one comment as well. Okay, yeah, this is a WordPress commenter. Hopefully, yeah, it's a bot. So here we are in a proper WordPress scenario. We can customize everything that we want to. We can change the theme. We can work on multiple themes. We can have a whole site working from here on. Okay, and okay. Yeah, and as I used the site, you can see the stats did change a bit as well. Okay, let me close the site as of now because you can go ahead with that. Let me show you a few interesting things over here. What can you do with the site? Okay, access control, IAM. Most probably, most of the times, you will not be the only person working on the project, right? You will be collaborating with some of your friends, or maybe some MSPs or some other professionals. So you can add people, you can assign a role, and okay, and I don't know what role exactly does what, so I can hover over this and I can see the owner has every access, including the access to resources, and the contributor has all the access except the resources. Okay, and here are ample. You can search the one that you need, or you can create a custom. So I'll just say, okay, I want to have a contributor here, and I want to give access to this. Okay, and yeah, okay, let's just save it. So this will basically not add him directly, but will create an invite for him. So he can confirm it or change it, and I can view the role assignments from here, and you can do a lot with that. And tags, what are these tags? Okay, basically when you're having multiple resource groups, when you're having owners, contributors, like these tags help you search the data very fast, and creating a tag is very easy. Like if I create a tag over here, like just saying owner, and maybe me, and I say, oh shit. Okay, I don't want to display the resources. Okay, something went wrong. Okay, yeah. Show resources with the tag. Okay, I probably should not go ahead with this because I will be deleting it very soon. But yeah, you can create it over here. One more, there are two specific things that I want to discuss as of now. It's one is logs. Cancel. Okay. One is logs. Now, what is logs? Like suppose you are having a resource group and you are having multiple resources within it, and you are having contributors and multiple owners as well. And then maybe someone accidentally delete some resource or delete the whole resource group, and you will lost all of the work, and you probably do not want that. In such a scenario, we add a lock, and the lock helps, like it helps you a lot. Okay, it helps you not to delete this stuff. And like, okay, there's one confusion, like if the lock says delete, but it basically is do not delete types. Okay, and when I add a lock, the lock is added and now I cannot delete the site. Okay, and I can add things to the resource group if I have applied locks to my, if I have applied a lock to my resource group, but I cannot remove from it. And if you want to remove anything from the resource group, once you have applied lock, you will have to remove the lock and then only you can like undo the things. Okay. And okay, let me, I'll show you creating this, destroying it as well. In the settings, yeah. So there's one important thing about scaling. I had also mentioned about scaling. So yeah, scaling is basically like when your site is working very fine, you are having multiple views and your site is going global, it's working amazing. And so you may want to scale up, like which is also called vertical scaling. And basically you want to maybe increase the memory, storage, compute power, or maybe existing virtual machines. So for that, you will use a scaling, and you can have again multiple options over here. Like each one has a different features, hardwares, as well as cost. Okay, now let's talk a bit about what are these development, test, production, and isolated environments. If we talk about this, then dev test is basically for the one like for very less workload. Okay, my site is working only in a particular region. I don't have a big audience, and maybe it works in a particular time of the year or something. In such a scenario that like we are going to use a development and test. Production is ideal for demanding workloads, right? Because you are going to you are having auto scaling. Yeah, auto scaling is very important in the like I say in production environment, because you cannot always scale up. Maybe you are sleeping, or maybe you are out of work, or maybe with a family. So in such a scenario, you don't want your site to crash down. So auto scaling helps a lot. Traffic manager. These features will rise with the money and the tire that you choose. Isolated, like it's very good for the workloads that are having advanced networking or fine-grained scaling. Well, I can say maybe like if you're working on some big IoT solution, then the IoT solution is going to have a lot of isolated, like it needs a lot of isolated data on the cloud. And for that, in such a scenario, you may want to use isolated environment. You can also use a scale out when your site is not working so fine, or you may not need a lot of resources, a lot of virtual machines, a lot of memory and power, because you are paid for everything that you use. So you can scale out at that time. Okay, and yeah, as I already mentioned about the CLI, Azure CLI and PowerShell, and we can work. Okay, before that, let me show you something about my site. Okay, let me try to create my delete my site. Delete. And to delete it, I have to say, okay. This resource has a delete lock that prevents us from deleting the resource. Please remove the lock and try again. So yeah, here you see, we cannot delete the resource even by fault. So yeah, I will remove the lock as of now because I want to delete it at some point. Okay. So you can stop your site, you can restart, delete, and do all the stuff from here. But still, at some point, you may want to use the CLI or PowerShell. Why do you need it? Well, you may need it because maybe, like, suppose I'm handling multiple sites, And when I'm handling multiple sites, I want to stop all at once. Will I go to each and every site and stop it? Well, I can do it, but why to do it when I have a command run and I can do it very fastly with the CLI, right? Because we have a lot of features that are ace and we should use them. So let's just go ahead with this. Let me just see my groups as of now. Let's keep it aside. To output it in a table form, because otherwise it will show me a JSON object and it will be very tough to understand. Okay, so I have 3 as of now. This is the one that I have my WordPress site in, and okay, this is some other, and this is where my storage is, right? The Central India one. Okay. And moving ahead, I can see my resource list as well. Let me have my resource group. And okay, this is my resource group. Control C. Yeah, this is my website. So my resource type is going to be Microsoft.websites. Website. Oops. Okay. Yeah, the location is Central US. The name of my site is WordPress because it is a session on WordPress. And the plan, I haven't chosen any plan, it's a free trial. And the tags, I haven't added any tags as well. So yeah, we can see it here. Okay, and okay, wait. If I copy it. I have my site running. Yeah, the site is running as of now. Okay, and just imagine that I want to stop it. I can simply do it by, and yeah, this is, oh, wait. What did I miss? Oh yeah, I have to mention the resource group and the app that I want to stop. I cannot stop anything randomly. Resource group. Yeah, this is my resource group. Also, please don't use Control C, Control V. Use Shift Insert when you're pasting it. Yeah, okay, let's try to reload it. Error 403. The web app has stopped. Okay, my web app has stopped. I can also, if I okay, it is not visible here that my web app has been stopped because like there is bit of lag in this, and this happens with for the Azure, and even when you are using Visual Studio Code and you're working on cloud from there will be some lag, but okay, that's like we know that it has happened. So okay, let me try to restart it. Oh, silence. When command line do not replies anything, it's usually a good news. That's my experience so far. It should be available now. Go ahead. Show me some metrics.
Yeah, I think it's a bit weird how it doesn't reply you with anything when you deploy with when it starts and then it starts successfully. It doesn't just tell you anything.
Yeah, it is
It
weird.
also
And
likes suspense. So it creates a suspense such that you need to log in.
Yay, we have our site.
yeah, the site is working now. So yeah, you can customize it, you can launch it, and you can create a custom domain as well, which I cannot do as of now because, yeah, okay, I cannot do it. Okay, you can, but yeah, but to create a custom domain, you have a lot of options here, and there must be one for custom domains as well. And SSL settings are very important when you go ahead. And one particular thing that I would like to mention, I remember last time when we were having a session, someone did ask like, why particularly to use Azure? It's like, I was thinking for a very long time and I realized that one particular thing that helps me when I am using Azure is the collaboration work. When I am working with my friends, like I can have the GitHub, I can have Visual Studio, and I can have cloud settings all at once, and I can see my site working on cloud simultaneously. I can keep on changing over the GitHub. I can see how the site is performing in the development phase over my cloud, and I can deploy it and swap up with the original working one whenever I'm ready. So yeah, Azure gives you a lot. Just go ahead and dive in. I think I'm done.
Oh, your session was really, really insightful. So basically, you know that on Microsoft Azure, which is the cloud, you can do a lot of things that you've always been thinking of being able to do. You can host your website. You can do some fun stuff, artificial intelligence and all the stuff on Azure. You have incredible power to be able to do that. And with the web interface, I mean the portal, or you can use the console to be able to do it, right? So the Azure CLI helps you to do all this stuff. So if you are new to Microsoft Azure, you can see that you have a lot of you have a lot of opportunity and power in your hands. You can do all that you want to do. All right. So thank you so much, Pallavi, for such a wonderful session. If you have any question, put it in the chat. I think Kevin has been so good at asking in many questions. That's so cool.
So Kevin asked that, can I use this process to deploy any app regardless of the programming language used?
Yeah, definitely. You can use it. You can use it for any sort of any model, and like I was recently working on a machine learning model, and it was so easy. Well, when I wanted to deploy it using Azure, so basically just you can directly deploy it on the portal, or you can go ahead with Visual Studio and you can deploy it from there. So yeah, you can deploy regardless of any programming language.
Exactly. So I'm just posting in a link in the chat. I have some how to deploy a web app, how to customize, put a custom domain, how to set up free SSL certificates. All those ones are on this channel. I just posted it. I have some tutorial to help you.
Thank you. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I know. So thank you so much, Pallavi, for such a wonderful session. And Amazon Web Service, and then also I think if any of you can remind me, Azure has how many data centers around the world so far?
I'll have to check.
Yep. And I don't know whether it's 67 or what. And then the cool thing is that Azure has, in combination of Amazon Web Service and also is it Google Cloud or something? In combination of the two, Azure has
GCP.
a lot of Azure has a lot of data centers as compared to all of them. And even Azure has a lot of certification in compliance with user data and how it is used and all those stuff, as compared to all other, cloud service providers. So Azure you're good to go. It's actually your must go if you are choosing to go on the cloud. We'll provide you with more information. But for now, thank you so much for staying in tune with us. Sunda, do you have any music interlude at the background? We could play and give them some moment for them to, if anyone wants to just pick something up in the compound or something and join us, you can do so. We want to give you just some 5-minute break, as we have overpassed, as we have crossed 2 sessions so far. So far, what we have done is so great, but we want to also tell you something, that after the break, we would continue with Azure Media Services, a way that you can, stream live with some services from Microsoft Azure. And we will also talk about virtual machines. So those are the 2 remaining that we will talk about. But for the time being, we'll just go on a short break. We have an announcement. Jackson, what do you want to tell them? Whoever comes back after the break, the 5-minute break, it's just 5-minute break, so that you can stretch, you can jump, and you can join us again. So Jackson, would you want to tell them anything, whoever joins us?
Yeah, so thanks once more for everyone who's still around, and I hope you're equally enjoying as I am. Yeah, so those that are going to come back, we are going to make sure we send you attendance certificates to make sure that indeed you're around and you are part of this great event. So make sure you come back, you stick around, listen to the music that Sunda is going to share. Yeah.
Yep. So it's just 5-minute break. We want you to be able to, if you, I know, for instance, I actually just left for some 2 minutes, and I prepared some cold tea with Milo and milk. So I'm sure you would want to do the same, or something. I don't know. Anything you want to do, you can be able to do it. We just want to give you a 5-minute break. Sunda we will just put up some music for now, so you hang around. But if you have any question, you can stay and then put it in the chats whilst we keep chatting with you. All right. So that is it. If you just joined us, we just completed 2 sessions. But even if you were, if this is the time that you joined, don't worry. You can still have the other 2 sessions, which will come up in 5 minutes. And they are really, you don't have to understand the basics before. However, if you were here from the beginning, it's an advantage, right? So thank you so much for joining us. We're just going on a 5-minute break. We'll be back soon. All right, so counting from now to 5 minutes. Do you want to, Sunda, I think you can just also share a timer on Windows have this timer. You can just share it to be at the corner part of your screen, so that those who would be joining will see that in 5 minutes we'll be back. Okay. So if you just join us, thank you so much for joining us. We just noticed that about 2 people just joined. In 5 minutes, we'll be back, and 5 minutes is counting, so it's more or less like 4 minutes, 30 seconds time. We will just start the second session, and Sundaresha will be teaching you all about Azure Media Services. And after that, we will talk about Azure Virtual Machines. For the time being, Ahad, do you have any comments to pass?
I don't think so. He set a timer. Well, no. Best of luck, and you should really stick in, because they will be presenting a really awesome content with a lot of details. So you don't want to miss that. And we got a great music that will be played.
Exactly. So you just have 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Sunda, put in the music interlude whilst they enjoy, and also stay with us.
Okay.
The system audio is not yet. It was available, but now it is not.
Okay, hold on. Let me just try it again.
Awesome. Works now. It works.
Got it.
Okay. We have 13 seconds, 12 seconds, 11 seconds, 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. So thank you so much for sticking around. We wanted to make sure this particular break thing works, and I think it works because everyone is still around. Thank you so much for sticking around. We'll be sharing a form, a link for you to fill out a form, which will just take your attendance and then if you have any feedback for us. And also an email address so that we will email you your attendance certificate, all right? Thank you so much. Jackson is the lead organizer for this particular event. And Jackson, would you want to pass any comments so far with how we have handled the sessions and your impression about those who hung around with us?
Yeah, like it's been amazing so far. I'm really enjoying, like I'm alone in the room, but you know, I feel like I'm in a hall with a lot of people. Yeah, so yeah, it's really awesome. I'm enjoying, and you know, thanks to those that are still around, and you know, I'm sure they've learned a lot there. They're really enjoying. Otherwise, they would have ran away as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
So thumbs up to the presentations that have been done so far. Like, you know, I really need to, you know, go through all these things and get to learn, because you know it was very insightful. Each and every presentation that has been done so far was so amazing. Like I'm growing. The accelerated growth that I talked about is really taking place for me here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing. So that's Jackson. Yeah. That's Jackson from Zambia, and Jackson is the lead organizer and the organizer for this particular event. Thank you so much for bringing us together for us to be able to do this particular event, Jackson. So next step, we have Sundareshwar. Sundar is from India, and also Sundar would be, Sundar would be sharing about Azure Media Services. So hello, Sundar.
Hello.
Ready?
Ready. Well, I was actually prepared before the 5-minute break. Then I thought, then those chills really got me into the mood. I'm now a bit relaxed due to that, thanks to the music.
Oh, amazing. All right, so over to you, bro. Inspire and then share with them.
Yes, just confirm me if my audio and video is clear and everything.
Pallavi? Yes, I think, yeah, it is clear. I can see. And your audio is good as well.
Yeah, I too can see. It will be better if you can like just increase the size a bit, maybe.
Size of what? Okay, the screen.
Yeah.
Just do that. There you go.
Okay, great.
Okay, so let's start. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Sundareshwar. I'm from India, and today I'm going to show you how to use Azure Media Services and create your own live stream. You might be knowing live stream services such as Twitch, YouTube, and what about what can you do to create your own service? Like you don't want to use YouTube and Twitch, you want your own website that you can host a live stream. You are creating a website that uses live stream. So how can you do that? So today I'm going to show you how. Okay, so for this you might need Azure subscription, of course, and OBS Studio, which is let me just show you OBS Studio, which is an open source software, so you can just get it for free. So just download it and I'll show you how to set up later. Okay, so after you reach this Microsoft Azure portal, just search for Azure Media Services. So there you go. So this is the one. So once you go to the Media Services thing, right now I don't have anything, so let's create a new one. Okay, so enter an account name. For now, let's create let's write as Cloud Emerge live stream. Okay, let's give that, and let's create a new resource group. I would suggest that every time you do, just create a new resource group, so in the end, when you're deleting your resource group, it will be easy for you. And I'll keep the location for now Central India, because I live in India, so it's the nearest location to me. So let's create a storage for that also.